and you guys clearly upset, come back to the council Monday night 2 weeks ago, and you were there.
Oh yeah.
And can you describe what happened?
Well, it wasn't really planned what happened, but it it just started with us going in there, and we were going to give a message, to everybody that we didn't approve of the police chief, and then while some of us were talking, at public comments, the the council one of the councilors was so arrogant against the speakers and anybody who wants the right thing. And I was up there, and the lady before me was talking, and she was talking about something that wasn't really related to police brutality, and we were behind her with signs about police brutality. So the counselor just basically stops what she's saying and tells her to look behind you, and says, "Ma'am, do you approve of these people behind you? Do you know who they are?" And then she turns and looks to him, and she goes, "Yeah, I know who they are. I've been following what they've been doing for a while, and I feel bad for their families. And no, they can stand back behind me anytime they want."
Yeah, it backfired on. That was
It backfired on
Counselor Harris.
Counselor
Correct.
Harris, and it backfired him. And guess who the next speaker was? Me. So after she left, I don't know, something just started brewing in me. I just was so angry at this guy for degrading us, for not caring about anything we've said, and don't wanting to listen. The main thing when he says that, he doesn't want to listen anymore to what we have to say. So I got up there, and I don't even remember what I said, but I remember one thing I said. I said, in my long 2 minutes that they give you, I said, "You know what, Counselor Harris?" I didn't call him Counselor. I said, "Harris," I call him. I said, "If you don't make $200,000 a year, or with your kind of, ways of thinking, you're nothing. You don't represent anybody who doesn't make over $200,000 a year. That's who you represent." I said, "You're the counselor for the rich." And then I just started going off, and
I think you even made a point about how he was reading his computer or iPad.
oh yeah, I've been telling him that for years.
And then his defense was really, really interesting.
Oh, that was something. Yeah,
Because
his
he says,
defense,
"Oh, look, I'm reading the Department of Justice report."
Yeah.
Which would have been nice to have read, when it
A month
came
ago.
out, rather
Yeah.
than the night
Yeah.
of the hearing.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah. So just things like that shows, like you were saying, for months and years before that. When anybody's up there talking, they're looking at their cell phones, or they're drinking their water, not looking at us, or they're playing with their iPads. I've caught them many a times doing that. I tell them, "Hey, we're up here talking. Listen to us."
mhm.
So anyway, that night, we basically said the same thing, and then one of the general commenters who had a special little complaint against the police chief. He throws them up in the air, an arrest warrant for the police chief. Like a citizen's arrest thing. It was more symbolic than anything. And throws it up in the air, and that seemed to trigger a reaction by the counselors. They got scared. They get up and they call order and stuff, and the people just started kind of rushing the front, not charging, but kind of just scattering into the
When you say
middle.
the front, up to where the speaker's
Yeah,
podium
up
is.
to the speaker's podium, and then past the speaker's podium to the, around where the counselors
But
were
that
at.
came a little bit
A
later.
little bit later, yeah. But anyway, they started coming up, a bunch of people to the speaker's podium, and I guess this scared the counselors, so most of them left. And then when they started leaving, then they thought, well, heck, if you're leaving, we'll just go ahead and hear what people's got to say.
But it wasn't, as often been portrayed, an unruly mob who who stormed with intent to take over the council, but it was the council, without following its own rules. All it needed to do was have a formal motion, a second, and a vote. They could have recessed or adjourned, but the unilateral action of Ken Sanchez, the president, just says we're stepping out. We're just, and left
well,
this vacuum.
he did a recess for 5 minutes, and they came back, and we were still out there. And then he did that, like you said, he did that illegal adjournment.
Right. But even recess
Yeah.
requires the same voting. He doesn't have the. He has to, if he thinks it's appropriate at that time as chair, the appropriate thing to do is to request a motion, have the motion made, seconded, and then voted on. And so you have when your own public bodies don't follow their own rules or don't even seem to know them or respect them. It's a culture that's beyond just the police department. There's something connecting the problems. The political problems at large have to be fixed, as well as the particular police problems, so that the laws are followed.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. See, they say they know the laws, but it appears that they don't, because they keep violating them. Why? Because they've been doing it for years, and nobody said anything about it. So now that finally people are getting educated and they know what their rights are, the establishment doesn't acknowledge that. They just want to say, well, we've been doing this way for years. If you don't think you have rights, well, tough. So they keep doing it. And they keep doing it. The only way they're going to stop is if they get a good, slap in the face, as I can say it. To wake them up and look at the rules and obey them. Obey your own rules. If you expect us to, you should too.